Welcome back to Decyphered, where we break down the biggest hacks in DeFi history. Today, we'll be talking about Cetus, where a simple math error cost a DEX over $200 million. Unlike many recent hacks, the Cetus breach didn't involve compromised private keys. Instead, the attacker exploited a simple mathematical error within the protocol's liquidity calculations. By depositing a single token and taking a position within a 200-tick range, they gained enough liquidity to drain the protocol. When performing liquidity calculations, the protocol performs a multiplication by 2 to the power of 64, effectively shifting the value left by 64 bits. Before attempting this, the code checks to see if this would cause an overflow. An integer overflow occurs when the value stored in a variable exceeds its maximum value, causing it to be interpreted as a smaller number. The intent of the overflow checking function in the project's code is to compare the value to be shifted 64 bits to the left to the smallest value that would cause an overflow. With a 256-bit integer, this would be a 1 followed by 192 zeros. However, the value used in the check code was incorrect. This meant over 18 quintillion values that should have been rejected would pass the overflow check. When an overflow occurs, large values become small ones. When Cetus performed liquidity calculations, the attacker's carefully selected value overflowed to a small number. As a result, the division used to determine the number of tokens to deposit produced a near-zero value. This meant that the attacker only needed to deposit a single token to claim their desired liquidity. However, when liquidity is assigned, it isn't being left shifted and used in calculations. As a result, the attacker received the full massive value that they requested. After exploiting the integer overflow vulnerability, the attacker held a large amount of liquidity within the protocol. This allowed them to withdraw all of the value deposited in the protocol, which was worth over $200 million. After draining funds, the attacker swapped stolen tokens to USDC and used the wormhole bridge to transfer them to Ethereum. However, they only managed to transfer about $60 million before SUI validators acted to freeze the funds remaining on-chain. The Cetus protocol hack was the result of a simple numerical error in test code, something that ideally should have been caught via edge testing. However, the fact that the Move programming language has overflow protections except for bit shifts may have caused this to be overlooked. This $200+ million hack is a case study in the importance of extensive security testing during audits and before code release. Stay tuned for our next exploration of the biggest hacks in DeFi.